So this week we're going to be doing work features. So what are work features? What does that mean? So what does that mean?
Add stuff to characteristics maybe?
Kind of. So what do we need to be able to sketch?
You need to sketch.
What do we need to have in order to sketch something?
Lines.
A working plan.
We have to have a plane, right?
Yeah.
Or something flat to draw on. So sometimes, like so far we've had the base planes, the XY, the XZ, and the YX, right? The base planes. And once you start a part, then you have the flat faces on the part that you can draw from. But sometimes you want to draw somewhere where you don't already have a plane. So how do you get a plane that's tilted or something like that? And so we use work planes to make those planes. And sometimes to make work planes, we also need to use axes or points. So like on your project, on the portfolio project, kind of the corners are cut off, right? How can you do that? Can you do that just by extruding straight back?
You could.
That's good.
Then you got to do the angles too.
Too much stuff on my desktop.
Yeah, really.
You know, I'll do it the way, easier way. Like this part. I need to cut the corner off. How am I going to do that? Yeah, I'm going to make a work plane. So I can't just sketch and extrude because that'll take it off. Just like that one, right? Which isn't what I want. So I actually want it cornered. So what I need to do is go to make a plane from here to here to here. Because 3 points makes a plane, right? And then I can use the split tool or I can sketch on it and extrude it out to cut that off. And so, kind of do that, there's different ways we can do it. So in order to measure the distance, we can actually take this plane and pull it down or pull it up. And you know also on when you go to extrude or you make a hole, there's the to. You can tell it to go to a plane. So you can have a plane go down and extrude down to that plane. So if you need to move that distance instead of going into that extrusion and changing it, you just move the plane. And now that plane will be able to line up a few different things. So if we go to plane, those are all different ways to make a plane. It looks like a lot, but it's all basically the same type of thing. So if I go in, I go to plane. If I pick on a plane and click and hold it and just drag it, I can pull it forward or backwards and make it parallel. Negative numbers go into the part, positive numbers come away from the part. So I can tell I want that to go out or go in 0.5. Oops. Negative 0.5. Right? Negative goes in. So let's say I wanted to cut this corner off. I want it to be a ½ inch off each side. I can do plane from here, pull it down. Pull that one in. So I've kind of found where those points should be. But if I try to make a plane there, so you can make planes by pulling aside. You can make it by clicking on corners. So if I picked on like that corner, that corner, so you made a plane. But I don't have any corners here. So what do you think I could do?
Use the plane corner.
No. Because that's not really a corner, right? That's just two planes that are crossing over each other.
Couldn't you use the 3 points option on the plane?
No, there's no points there though.
You can't tell where you want your points then.
There's no point there. You see another option for a point up there? The work point. So a work point lets you create that point where two planes would intersect. So if I do a point at the intersection of that plane and that plane, oops, actually point on that line and that plane, see? So I tell the point on that edge where it intersects that plane, that one where it intersects that plane. Now I can draw a plane from that work point to that work point to that work point. Now I could go ahead and use my split tool, use that as my plane, take it, now that corner's gone.
Are those planes gonna be like, you have to take off all the?
No, don't delete the planes. If you delete the planes, it messes it up. You can turn it off though. So you just right click on it, turn off the disability, so you can turn them off, but don't delete them. Because if you delete them, remember it's all based on what you did before. So if you delete something up here that needed, it'll go away also. Yeah, you can go ahead, right click, turn off visibility, or you can just select them all here, right click, visibility off on all of them. So another way we can make plane is we can pick on a surface. If we pick on an edge, what's it asking us for?
Angle.
An angle. So now I can tell it to go 45 degrees. So if I wanted a notch to come through at 45 degrees to that, I could do this. Now I can go on that work plane, sketch, and then how do I see the inside of that?
F7.
Yeah, F7. Oh, and you see it didn't project my edges. Whenever you sketch on a plane itself and not on the face of an object, it won't project the edges for you. So now you have to come back, project geometry. F7 on, project that edge. I want to project it. There you go. Then I can extrude it, cut, mid-plane, all the way through. So now I have that cut there. And so why would I want to do that instead of pulling it from the side this way and doing the sketching there?
Because you have to give it two distances much.
Yeah. And I could do that too. I could have two work planes here, sketching the side and tell it to go from one to the next. So if I do it a plane there, plane there, I could go here and sketch. Just gonna do a quickie. And I could extrude as a cut. I want to extrude that. I'm gonna go between. I'm gonna go from this one to that one. Now, even though the sketch was on the side, it's only cutting between those two work planes. So that's another way you can do it. You can also go from a plane, click on one, and then we can click on a point, and we'll get it parallel to the first plane through that point. So if you find a point somewhere you want your work plane to go through that point, you just pick on one and then pick on the point, and the work plane will go through it. We can click on a face, click on a cylinder, and now we'll get tangent to that cylinder parallel to that other face. I want it on this side, plane, there, there. Okay. What if I wanted a plane here at 45 on the outside of that cylinder?
Click the top of the cylinder. And you just click the top of the cylinder and cut, put a plane in that.
Because I need to have a plane that's going to be parallel to. So if I want a plane that's right here, how can I get that plane?
The plane on the outside of the face?
Do I have a plane that's at 45 degrees to the part?
Good.
If I look down on it, do I have any planes going this direction?
Not from point to point.
No, right? Yeah, but this might not be 45. Depending on where that circle was and stuff, so it's not trying to do that. So how can I get a plane that's going that direction?
When you cut it at on the other side, wouldn't that be 45?
But it's also angled 45 that way.
Let two planes make a
Can't
90.
you just use that edge to...
No, not that edge. When I get a plane going this way, how can I make some planes? I already did it.
Two
How
faces,
how do I need to tell it that I want it at a certain angle?
The axis?
Yeah, I need to pick the edge in a plane, right? The location of this one doesn't matter just because I'm just going to use it to make another one. So if I pick that face and that edge, now it asks me for the angle. So I can put in the angle and get one that's going the right direction. And now I can go from this one to there. Now I can draw it. Why would I want that plane there? What good is that doing?
You can cut through it, to it.
If I want to do something there. A real common thing is you want to put a hole in the side of a cylinder, right? Can you put a hole in something that's round? So if I take that off, I do a hole and use these, it won't let me pick it. None of these will let me pick that round face. It wants to put a hole in something that's flat. So the way to get around it is now you have that sketch there. Create a sketch. I project that edge. Now I can just draw a line from there straight down and put a point on it. That should look familiar. If I graded your lab one, we did that same kind of thing. Then I can give it a dimension. Now I have a point there on a sketch plane that I can use to make the hole. I can finish. Now I can go hole. one thing that might happen sometimes is it'll do that because it doesn't know which way to go. Because as far as it's concerned, it's just on the plane, it's not on the part, so it doesn't know which way to go. So sometimes you'll have to hit this little button here to flip directions to make it go the right way. And then you can say okay and put it in. So that's how you have. That's how what you'd have to do to get a hole in the side of a cylinder. Okay. That's something that's done a lot. Midway between two. So if you pick on two planes, it'll give you one. If you pick on two parallel planes, it'll give you a new one right down the middle between the two. So that's used a lot if you drew something that you didn't center on the origin, and you realize, oh, I want to mirror this. You can do that to find that mirror plane. Okay. There's also this axis, so you can put that in, pick a cylinder, it puts in an axis. Or you can do axis and pick on two planes, and it'll put an axis where those two planes intersect. Like if I wanted to make another plane where those two planes were, and now I can do plane from there to that axis. So now I've got a plane right there. So as you get further on, there might be times where you need to find where something is. And then so you can use your work plans to find where that point is, find how it needs to line up. So, any questions? No? That?
Can we get the axis again?
What? For an axis, it's either you pick on something that's round, or you pick on two planes and I'll put an axis down the center of it. Those are how I use it. You could put a parallel to a line through a point. So if I did that line, that point, axis, that point, then that line. Now, I don't know why you do that though. I always just use axis for the center of something that's round because in order to use the circular pattern, you have to have an axis. It won't let you just pick on a round object. You actually have to pick an axis. And so you'd have to put the axis and then you can pick it to do a circular pattern. So now I can pick circular pattern, that hole, that axis. Put in that holes.
You picked on the hole?
Yes.
The axis or
Yeah, I patterned the holes around that axis.
So that automatically does the holes or?
And that's what I told you. So when I did the pattern, I told to pattern the hole around the axis, told it 6 times in a full circle. Questions?
So you click hole first, then the pattern, or click?
No, you pick pattern first, then the features. You pick which features you want to pattern. Then you pick the axis. Pick the axis for it. So any other questions on pattern or on work features?
What's UCS?
I've never used it here. Probably usually you can change the coordinate system, but there's really no point to doing that. I've never had to use it in Inventor or in SolidWorks. Because if you want to find a point, you just pull axes off or pull planes to find your points. And if you look at this, it tells you which way X, Y, and Z are pointing. you don't need to mess with it like you do in AutoCAD. Because then when you do a sketch, it automatically turns it to that sketch. There's no point, I can see, to having that. If you want to try it out and see what it does, that'd be great. I think you can think of it, it might be useful maybe if you're doing a 3D sketch. But if you're doing a 3D sketch, then you can probably use the just the regular one anyways. That's what I've done whenever I've had to do a 3D sketch. Is I just use the regular settings right now. And I know my X, Y, and Z. I don't get mixed up. And we're not going to do 3D sketches in this class. That'll be in 4D when we do 3D sketches. All right, any questions? All right, so the assignment or the practice this week. If it goes.
The practices, they don't get handed in or nothing, right? We just, those are
No.
just so we can,
Just so you can
just
practice.
the portfolio ones. When we got to worry about.
And on Wednesday, I'll post the next lab. I might post it tomorrow, but on Wednesday I'll post it so you can start working on it. I might do it during this class. So here's the first practice. So it should look kind of familiar. So you're gonna do like I did with the 3 points. Find that corner and that corner, and then use this back corner of the rectangle, cut it off, and then from this front corner, do a plane out straight where you can draw this box and cut it up. Okay? Any questions on that?
So you put a plane and then the other plane below it to where.
After you cut this one off, wherever that corner is, you can put it. So
Oh,
Your
okay.
point is a 2-point plane.
it's like here, you click on plane, there, and click on that corner, and it puts it in.
Oh, okay.
Because you're not going to know what the height is for that corner. Just click on the bottom or the top, or you're not going to have the top anymore. Click on the bottom, and that corner, it'll put it in.
Or you can draw that cut out first and then do the plane.
No, you can't because you don't know how far down to go. You don't know where this point is until you do that plane.
So is that angle or 45 angle?
No, it's whatever comes out when you make
Oh,
these
make
decisions.
this, okay.
So cut the top first. So find that point and that point. Draw a work plane between those 2 points and that back corner. Split it. And then from this front corner, make a work plane on it and draw that front cut out and extrude it. Everyone following, lose you.
Let's get to work.
And then on the next one is this one. So draw that.
Oh, wait.
What the heck is that? A camera?
No, it's a round thing. It's got the chamfers, it's got a groove here, it's got a thread here.
Yeah, look like
It's got 2 holes going through it. This one's at 45 degrees.
you're killing us.
Practice.
Yes. I've seen.
This is the practice doing stuff that you're going to do all the time.
Okay.
Oh, that's 1 inch right there.
Center.
Guys, on this one, that's 1 inch.
The hole?
Yeah, from the face to the hole, to the center.
That's number 14. Is 1 inch.
And if you want more practice, I didn't take a picture, but there's these ones that you do if you want to practice drawing obliques from actual parts. So that's what it's called. It's slanted in two directions. It's an oblique. So that's what these ones in the back are. So any questions?